Hello everyone, welcome back to the course on construction management and entrepreneurship for 5th semester VTU students. Today in this course we will be looking into some of the safety precautions that has to be taken during different construction activities. Safety precautions during excavation. Excavation can be divided into two types. One is open excavation, the other one is tunnel and shaft excavation. Now we will look into some of the safety precautions that will be taken during open excavation. The sites of every excavation where there is danger of fall or dislodgement of earth, rock or other material forming the sites or adjacent to any excavation shall be securely supported by adequately braced timber of suitable quality or other material unless the sides of the excavation are sloping to a safe angle. No excavation of earthwork below the level of any foundation of a building or structure shall be commenced or continued unless adequate steps are taken to prevent danger to any person from collapse of the structure or fall of any part thereof. In every excavation, work along sloping ground, sides and slopes of excavation shall be maintained in a safe condition by scaling, benching or barricading. On steep slopes, workers shall not be permitted to work one above the other. Additional precautions to be taken to prevent slides, slip or cavings when excavations are made in locations subject to vibrations from railroad or highway traffic, etc. All the trenches 1.5 meter or more in depth, ladders should be provided. Excavation areas should be adequately lighted for night work. During hours of darkness, all public sidewalks should be adequately illuminated and warning lights about excavation should be provided. A flagman should be posted to warn the public or approaching trucks and to direct the trucks in and out of the site of excavation. The side slopes and their stability should be carefully examined after every blasting operation. Every accessible part of an excavation pit or opening in the ground into which a person is liable to fall, a suitable barrier should be provided. Measures should be taken to prevent workers and spectators from approaching the dangerous areas. Now we will look into some of the safety precautions that has to be taken during tunnel and shaft excavation. Frequent careful inspection of tunnel walls and roof and through sealing or removal of loose rock are necessary to prevent rock falls. Ample illumination, good housekeeping and safe walk sites are important factors in the prevention of accidents. All persons working or entering the tunnel should wear hard hats and hard toe shoes. In every shaft and tunnel, sufficient safe means of access should be provided. After every blasting operation, a roof and walls of the tunnel and sides of the shaft should be carefully inspected. Locomotive power other than electric should not be used. Every locomotive should have headlights on each end. It should also be equipped with whistles or horn. No inflammable material or oil and grease should be stored inside or near the tunnel or shaft. The ventilation system should be adequate to maintain circulation of air in and parts of tunnel and shafts. All electric wiring shall be extra heavy insulated and of sufficient capacity, supported on insulators and not looped on or tied to spikes or other makeshift supports. Telephone system should be established in the tunnels and shafts. So this is an example of tunnel opening where we can see the air being pumped inside through the yellow pipes for proper ventilation and cooling inside the tunnel. Now we will look into some of the safety precautions that has to be taken during gaseous tunnel excavation. Regular checking of methane gas by methane detector. No entry for workers carrying lighters, matchboxes, etc. inside the tunnel. To detect carbon dioxide formation, safety lamps should be provided. The gas percentage should be checked regularly. Rescue apparatus shall be provided and some personnel should be trained to handle them. Welding and cutting by gas should not be allowed inside a gaseous tunnel. Now, we will look into some of the safety precautions that has to be taken during drilling and blasting operations. We basically have 5 steps that has to be followed during drilling and blasting. They are safety during transportation of explosives, safety during storage of explosives, safety during drilling, safety during loading of explosives, and finally safety during the blasting operation. Now we will look into the safety precautions that has to be taken during each one of these steps. Safety precautions taken during transportation of explosives. Vehicles must have springs under the body. Detonators and igniters must not be carried in the same vehicle with explosives. The vehicle carrying the explosives must not be used to transport workmen or other materials. Driver should not leave the vehicle unattended. A motor vehicle carrying explosives should not be refueled except in emergencies. Smoking should be prohibited during handling and transportation of explosives, and explosives should be protected against theft. All vehicles transporting explosives shall be marked or placarded on both sides and ends with the word explosives in white letter not less than 75 mm tall on a red background. Vehicles transporting explosives should never be taken to a repair shop or parked in congested areas or stored overnight. Explosives should not be transported on a public highway during hours of darkness. Persons employed in the transport or handling of explosives should not carry with them or in the vehicles such as matches, loaded firearms, petrol, etc. Now we will look into some of the safety precautions that has to be taken during storage of explosives. The place where explosives are stored is called as magazine. The magazine should be kept clean. High explosives like dynamite should be stored in a dry, clean, well ventilated, bulletproof and fireproof building constructed in accordance with Indian Explosives Act on an isolated, well guarded place. Sufficient number of lighting conductors should be provided on top of the magazine. Separate magazine shoes without nails should be kept in the magazine, and persons entering the magazine must put on these magazine shoes. Light should be obtained from an electric storage battery lantern. No person having articles of steel or iron be allowed to enter the magazine. Oily cotton rags, cotton waste, and other articles liable to spontaneous ignition should not be taken into the magazine. Packages containing explosives should not be allowed to remain in the sun, and adequate firefighting equipment shall be provided in the magazine. Safety precautions during the drilling operation. Holes should be of greater diameter than the diameter of the cartridges of explosives. Loading and drilling should not be carried out at the same time in the same area. Drilling should not be resumed after blasts have been fired until thorough examination has been made to make sure that there are no unexploded charges which the drill might strike. Now let us look into the safety precautions taken during the loading of explosives. Boreholes must be cleared of all debris before the cartridge is inserted. All loaded holes or charges shall be checked and definitely located before firing. Holes in the cartridges shall be made with a sharpened wooden stick. Detonators shall be inserted only in a hole at the end of the cartridge prepared specially for that purpose. No welding shall be done inside the tunnel at the time of loading of the face until the blast has been taken. After the loading of a blast is completed, all excess explosives and detonators should be removed to a safe location. Now we will look into the safety precautions taken during the blasting operation. The charge should be fired successively and not simultaneously. Prior to the firing, all persons in the area should be warned of the blast and sent to a safe distance. Flagmen with whistles should be posted to stop traffic at access points on each possible routes of travel. Blasting should be done at a fixed hours and displayed on a notice board. A loud warning signal shall be given at a proper time before firing a blast, and all clear signals shall be given when the blasting is over. After a blast has been fired and the firing line is disconnected, a careful inspection should be made by the blaster to determine if all charges have been exploded. Now we will look into some of the safety precautions that has to be taken during hot bituminous works. Workers shall use protective wears such as boots, gloves, goggles, helmets, safety jackets, etc. When heating and handling of hot bituminous materials is to be done in open, sufficient stocks of clean dry sand or loose earth shall be made available at the work site to cope with any resultant fires. When heating of bituminous material is carried out in the enclosed spaces, sufficient number of properly maintained dry powder fire extinguishers or foam extinguisher conforming to accepted standards shall be kept in readiness on the work site. Piping for hot tar and bitumen shall be adequately insulated to protect workers from injury by burns. Workers shall not stand facing the wind directions while spraying hot binder, as it may fall on them causing burns. Suitable indicator gauges shall be used to check level and temperature of the material in the boiler. Workers should not be allowed to peep into the boiler. Now we will look into some of the safety precautions that has to be taken for scaffolds. Scaffolds are provided for works that cannot be done from the ground or from part of a permanent structure. Every scaffold, including supports, should be of good quality and of adequate strength for the purpose for which it is used. Boards and planks used for the floors shall be of uniform thickness, but jointed, closely laid and secured, fastened in place. In case of suspended scaffolds, supports should be of adequate length and strength. Ropes, chains, or other means of suspension should be of good quality, sound material, and of adequate strength and properly secured. Persons should not be allowed to work from scaffold during storms or high winds. Side screens should be provided on scaffolds erected along passageways. So these are the couple of images showing the suspended scaffolds, usually used for cleaning of glasses, painting and plastering purpose. Now we will look into some of the safety precautions that has to be taken for platforms. Platforms are provided on top of scaffold, which acts as a means of leveled surface for the workers. All working platforms from which workers are liable to fall more than 2 meters should be of adequate width, depending upon the type of work done, and provided with suitable guardrails of adequate strength. Platform should be kept free from any unnecessary obstruction, material, rubbish, etc. Each supporting member used in the construction of platforms should be securely fastened and braced. Supporting members should be placed on a firm, rigid, and smooth foundation of a nature that will prevent lateral displacement. Cantilever of scaffold plank should be avoided. Where planks are butt jointed, two parallel putlocks must be used, giving each plank a sufficient support. Now we will look into some of the safety precautions that have to be taken while using the ladders. Ladders should be of good construction, sound material and adequate strength. No ladder with defective or missing rung or with any rung which depends for support solely on nails, spikes, etc. should be used. Wooden ladder should not be painted as paint covers up the defects. Whenever platform is 1.5 meter or more above the ground, a ladder or stairway should be provided. Every ladder used for vertical height of more than 9 meters should be provided with an intermediate landing. The materials and tools should, wherever practicable, be pulled up with a rope and should not be taken by ladders. A ladder should not be placed upon a box, barrel, or other movable insecure object. The slipping of ladder at either end should be carefully guarded against where the supporting surfaces are smooth and vibrating. So that's it for today's session. Thank you very much.